April 1st. Did you get fooled already? I bet you thought I will be the one because I didn't post this video earlier, but we had some technical issues, so I hope this is behind us and we can continue smoothly. Number 1, as the first number of our date, is just the right number to begin with, because it signifies the beginning, it signifies the power, the enormous amount of energy, and it comes from its ruler, the sun, the star and the creator of our galaxy. And by this fact, it's logical that number 1s are like magicians, are really like magnificent creators, and they really are goal-oriented, proactive, and also they have this male energy around them, and they want to do most of the things alone, which can be a hindrance, especially because their motto is "I know," and this can come across as a bit arrogant, because it can mean that they are not ready to learn or not ready to listen to other people's opinion, and it can be a very lonely road for them. But the other fact is that when they say "I know," it's like a confirmation for them to trust themselves. Okay, so it's confirmation that they can trust themselves, and if they can explain this in a proper way, there is the magic happening, and they can achieve even more with others. Number 4, as the second number in our date, is the ruler of the month of April, and it was thoroughly presented in my video 2 years ago. The video is still on my YouTube channel and also on my webpage, so you can check it out, and I will just explain a few basic facts for today's purposes, because we don't have a lot of time. So with number 4, the foundations are the most important thing to think about or to check. So are they firm? Are they healthy? Are they stable? So these are 3 characteristics that the foundations must have. And this means that we must check how we stand, or where we stand, on what we stand. Because if we are not stable, or we are not healthy, then we are gone, right? Another thing is to check the father archetype, or the influence of our fathers. So what did they give us in the sense of work ethics, routine, providing for our home, foundations, structure, okay? Because our roles have changed throughout the history, the man is not as much the head of the family as he or she was before. She is now let's say a companion of the he, because the roles from the cave age have changed, and this is why it's important to check where we stand. Was our father, let's say, absent from home? How was our home like? Because although the roles have changed, men, especially number 4s, are in that state of mind still. Okay, so I have to provide, I have to find another thing, so another vision to provide for my family, and they are out of home a lot. It can be a hindrance or not. It depends on the situation, or how was it explained to you, okay, when you were growing up. So the year of 2024 has 2 numbers that I haven't mentioned or explained. So first one is number 2. Yes, 2 is the opposite of the sun, so it's the feminine aspect. It's the shadow or the dark aspect, because it's the moon. as I said. So it's really, really important to get to know the dark parts of ourselves, which we usually just kind of set aside or don't want to look at, but we are missing a part of ourselves. We all have feminine part, so if we kind of push it at the back, it stays there and it causes us problems. So yeah, number 2 also sees all sides, so it's a good mediator, but it can present a hindrance for it, just because they want to keep the peace at home, and they turn into people pleasers, and people who have lots of twos in their charts are usually people pleasers, and they neglect this part of themselves like every day. Okay, the number 0, it's just the right number for today, because in tarot it represents the Fool. Yay! We all have to have the Fool in our life, because they bring playfulness, they bring unburdenedness, they bring innocence, they bring like childish energy into the world, and they also act on instincts, and they are like unwritten piece of paper, so tabula rasa, and that's why they have to have a loyal companion by their side. In tarot, it's a dog, to kind of signal them to be careful when they are too close to the edge of the cliff, so they don't fall into the abyss. But yes, the Fool is very, very wise. They share their wisdom through being silly, humor. So yeah, very, very nice vibration to have by your side. Of course, it has its dark sides as well. The total of the year 2024 is 8. I have already described number 8 at the beginning of this year on my blog, so you can find it on my webpage or my Facebook page. Number 8, its main characteristics is, of course, financial stability. So in a way, luck on the material field. That's why Chinese numerology is the lucky number. But rest assured, no number is better than the other or worse than the other. All are equal, because it's like yin and yang. It has to be like this, otherwise we wouldn't be here anymore, because we couldn't reach balance and we would go off yeah, into the space where it was all created. Okay, but yeah, bear in mind number 8, yeah, material stability. If you can balance ego and the higher spirit, so the lower and the upper part of you, and also maybe like downside of it is analytical mind, which can provide problems, because it can lead into paralysis. And the total of the date, today's date, is number 13, the unlucky number. No, it's not unlucky. Like I said, no one is better than the other. Number 13 represents, in a way, the fact that the only constant in life is change. And because of the fact that number 13 is represented as death in tarot, Grand Arcana, this is probably the case of it being unlucky. But number 13 is a very interesting number because it says, okay, you as individual, look at yourself now and look at yourself in the past and see what wasn't right, okay? Or which wishes or needs weren't satisfied that cause problems for you today. So we all have patterns, we all have beliefs in ourselves that either push us forward or hinder us. So this is what number 13 actually in a way means. So change, okay, change. We change every day. Our cells die or replaced or new are created. So we must see that as change. But because we do not know what happens to us when we pass, when we leave this planet, yeah, a lot of emotions come up, and it's a taboo topic in majority of the world. And majority of the world don't celebrate or doesn't celebrate death as something positive, but we see it as something that is bad, okay? And that's why the majority, no, not the majority, but the strongest emotion or feeling that arises is fear. Fear, or in my case, terror. Some say, let's say, or feel sad or other emotions, but I think the majority is fear. So when we talk about that, I apologize for my handwriting. I always apologize because I have doctor's type handwriting, but I explain everything. So if you listen to me, you will know what's written. But yeah, when we talk about death, it's fear or terror that we feel, or enormous sadness. And I think the reason for it, at least in my case, is that my first thought is, it's over. It's all over. I can do nothing about it. Because when we die, it actually is over. You can talk, you can move, you're gone, okay? The end. Yeah, it's final, okay? And what do we do when we know that fact? Like, you are frozen, you freeze, you are paralyzed, you can't move, and then you procrastinate because you want to be perfect for it not to happen again. Okay, so paralyze or freeze. Okay. Yes, this is when we look at death as a loss. So our change is loss. Like I see it, change is loss. So I equal change with loss. And when I do that, nothing good comes out of it because it paralyzes me. But what if we saw the change as a beginning? So death is actually a beginning. When we physically die, of course, it's not beginning for us, but it's beginning for the ones that we left behind, if they want to see that, okay? So instead of it's over, it's the end, we can say it's the beginning. What can we do about it? And when we say that, it's like we get excited, okay? There's joy in us. There's a feeling of freedom that we feel inside of us if we want to see the death or the change as something positive, okay? Or something that is into our benefit. So instead of paralyzing and freezing, we get action. Okay, we move forward. We socialize. We seek a company, or we ask for advice, for support, help. Okay, so it gets us into motion. So this polarity between death and life or change is very important today. Okay, so how we see it, as a gain or as a loss? So which one will you choose? Okay, this is an example, or was an example, of analysis and mentoring through numerology. So I hope I was clear. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can write me an email or down in the chat or comments. And yeah, thank you for your attention, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.